man, and somebody said, you'll stand up here one day and do this, and I went, no, I won't. I don't do this for glory. I don't do it for money. I do it because I'm convinced 100% that the spirit world want me to do this, and that's why I do it.
Good evening, Ron.
Okay, as I said, my name's Ron. Okay, what we're about to see is a demonstration of trance mediumship. Okay, I've been doing this publicly for about 15, 16 years now. I don't want to know what the questions are. So George is my control, who is in the spirit world and has been there for approximately 400 years. Oh, good evening to you all.
I was just thinking about the difference between coincidence and fate. What's your opinion on that?
Well, this is interesting. I have always said you must understand that nothing happens by accident. It happens by design. There is cause and effect for everything. Coincidence, my friend, you must understand, does not concern me, but cause and effect does. I thank you for a very good question.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, George.
Good evening, my
It's
friend.
very nice to have you here this evening in our little church. May I ask, what are we to make of the Bible's 10 Commandments?
Well, it is an extremely good question. First and foremost, at the time that the 10 Commandments were given, they were a rule of life. You must understand, upon the earth plane at that time, there was much, shall we say, wrongdoing and evil. And the need for, shall we say, commandments such as these were necessary at the time. And I must say to you, my dear, how do you feel about the 10 Commandments?
Well, one of them is I shall have no other gods before me. And sometimes that gets a little confusing because there seem to be so many.
There is only one God, my dear. But exorcism, of course, is whether you believe in the devil or adverse spirits or other beings, shall we say, that can, within the mind of the person, inhabit the physical form.
I'd like to ask, what exactly involves the process of passing over?
Well, it is dependence on every individual. A mother, father, partner, whatever, may also draw close to them to give them the reassurance that it is all right to let go of the physical frame. In most instances, the person that slips into the spirit world does it in an automatic fashion. It is, shall we say, as simple as closing your eyes and going to sleep. They lift their heart and their soul and they slip into the spirit world. I hope that helps you, my dear.
Yes, thank you.
Oh yeah, a lot of my work is to do with what you would class as hauntings or poltergeist activity. The one that sticks in my mind that I always remember from my early days was I went to a house and there was plates and pictures falling off the wall and things happening in this room. And the person couldn't stop it no matter what they did. They found that the activity was always there. The activity within the room was made the hairs on the back of your neck stand on end. And it just shows that the mind power of the person that's died still remains a long time after they've left the earth plane in a particular place. When I speak about being in touch with everything and everyone, the important thing is understanding about the cycle of nature and everything to do with the natural world. How joyous it is when you can walk into, shall we say, a forest with flowers and trees and birds and so on and so forth. What upliftment that gives to your spirit. And the same when you are, shall we say, beside a great sea or wherever in a beautiful garden, how that uplifts your spirit. There are beings within these things of nature that you may call elves or fairies or so on and so forth. But they are the spirit of nature, and they are only found in these places. But they exist, my friend.
If we had more than one love in our lives here, who do we reside with when we pass over and are reunited?
The person that blends with you the best.
Good evening, George.
Good evening.
I'd like to ask you, what is your view on cloning?
I do not believe it to be correct at this time.
Hello, George. Is the bombing in London going to continue, and what are we to make of Islam as a religion?
Well, unfortunately, you see, many of your religions are motivated, shall we say, by governments and sects and breakaway religions and so on and so forth. What do I make of Islam? Islam, in its true form, worships the Great Spirit. And I have no problem with Islam at all. Religion is what it is. It is a belief. If you believe in God the Great Spirit, and you do it with all your heart and with all your love, then there is nothing wrong with it. You will meet your God energy when you come to the spirit world. Your life is about enjoying yourself. There are things here within this life of ours that you cannot possibly understand until you, shall we say, frequent these dimensions. But everything within this dimension is harmonious and light. You can talk. You can talk.